Hey folks, welcome. Sound is working. That is fantastic. Today is Counterclipping Show number 50. It is November 29th, 2021. So, what we're drinking, we are drinking once again the Ardbeg Wee Beastie. Like to finish this off at some point and make way for something new. It's pretty good. Like I said before, I think it's bottled at like 46%, so it really does need a little bit of water, I think. Ardbeg is a lot of scotches benefit from adding a little bit of water. Ardbeg is not one of them. To me, water brings out kind of a manure note that I do not particularly enjoy. This one nevertheless requires a little bit of water and requires a little more water to get rid of that little manure note. We are clipping Smolensk Barbarossa Derailed, which is a game I've done a fair amount of stuff on for the channel, but my copy has never been punched. We are miraculously going to be able to get this into one counter tray. It's 3 counter sheets, 2.5 sheets of which are counters. So it's not quite that tight, but it's pretty tight. So we're going to get that done tonight. In fact, I've gotten in the last 2 hours or so, I've gotten most of it clipped. So, so I go into work and run into somebody that I haven't seen at work in several months. And she's like, "Oh, you grow a beard." I said, "That's very kind of you. Thank you." Because it's not much of a beard. So, tonight we're going to talk about used war games. I felt like this is kind of coincidence that this happened this way. I started the counterclipping stream back in like late 2020, right, with talking about Case Blue. And I have just finished organizing Case Blue, organizing, collating, all that stuff, figuring out what's missing. There's 34 counters missing. Nevertheless, I am okay with that because I did inquire with Multiman to see if they had any extra Case Blue counter sheets. They were kind enough to respond, but they do not. So I'll just make replacement counters. I'm never selling it. I am completely happy to just make replacement counters, and I'm happy. I don't have the replacement counters to show you, but I think I made about 6 of them so far. I haven't like physically mocked the counters up, but I have designed them in Inkscape, and I think they're pretty good approximations to the gamer's counter style. I think we're going to be plowing through the next couple of weeks. We're going to be plowing through OCS games because I have several that need to get clipped yet. So before we move on, I would like to welcome everybody to the stream. Let me send out the social media post, which I should have done like 2 minutes ago, but I forgot. So let's do it now. We are going to have giveaways, and because it is episode 50, we are going to have 5 giveaways. 4 boxed games, 3 of which are war games, and 1 something special at the end. So we've gotten all the social media stuff out of the way, so let's get rid of that. So what's going on? So I got my big Foot Locker sized box of stuff from Compass Expo. So the loot video will be out tomorrow. There was some damage. You'll see it in the loot video. There was some damage. I wrote Compass about it. They sent me a couple replacement boxes. Everything else was completely fine. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we got some folks here already. So let's say hello. Let me get the actual thing up here. Hold on a second. I want to get the actual stream data up so I can keep an eye on making sure the stream is not taking a crap. So let's say hello to Paul O'Farrell, Lead Magnet, Trevor Russell Smith, Fast Hines, Paperless Writer, Charles Latora, Rick Cox, John Nolan, Tom Borman, Manders, Ed Pernal, Carl Crater, Sheriff Harry, Bill Simone, James Whitmer, Fucko, Todd Walser, Lind Pratt, John Clark, Stephen Roberts, Thomas Bandy, Henry Sikorsky, Matt Taylor, Ronald Dickerson, Jeff Anderson, Brent McCabe, Jeff Beeler, Jason W., The Command Tent, John Keyports, Mr. Stigler is in the house, Daniel Berger, William Bird, Chad Kennedy, how do you say that? Ken X, Jason R. LaRiviere, Cal Reese, Wade Moore, Greg Grant, Mike Orwick. There's a lot of folks here. Let me make sure I'm getting caught up here. A. Davis, Cardboard Casualty, Brian Gash, The Command Tent, Half-Assed Gaming, Achilles, Mike Anthony, Tim Zales, and I think I got everybody. Kilroy is also here in the house, and Michael Sherman. I think I got everybody. So we'll try and keep an eye on the chat tonight. So I have several things to give away. I would say two of which are courtesy Compass Games, two of which are courtesy of me, and one of which is courtesy of John Longshore. Kirk Bollinger, thanks. Welcome to the stream. So before we get started here, we got some clipping to do. Man, am I glad I bought those. He had a huge stack of counter trays. So we're having to get a little bit creative on organizing this particular thing. And at some point I'll do a show on organizing these things, because at this point it's kind of a show on how to pack the most amount of Wargame back into the same box. The Smolensk box is one of these 1.5-inch MMP deals, which actually for this game I actually am comfortable with that. I can get this in one tray. It'd be nice to have space for a second tray, but you know, we can't have everything. I would also like a suitcase to fall out of the sky containing $1 million, and that hasn't happened yet either. So we are still playing War in the Desert. We did take a week off last week for the holiday, so I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We have, holiday month coming. And, Merry Christmas. We're getting a giant boatload of work at work. So one thing that I got on eBay, bought it on eBay like a month ago, and it just showed up today, is Spires, I'm trying to frame it in the shot here, Spires of the Kremlin, East Front Battle Series, Joe Youst, designer from 3W. This is one I've had my eye on for quite a while. Don't know how good it is. We're going to try to find out. Well, Trevor, the answer to that question is that is exactly why there are 34 counters missing, because it's a big pain in the wad to put it away and organize it. I got it into 4 trays, which if you look at the box up above my head here, you'll see that it is bulging by about a tray. But for a game that size, that's about the best I can do. So, William Aarons, thanks for stopping by from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. So I think, we'll go for a little bit yet. So we'll see how we do tonight. So anyway, one of the things that showed up in the Footlocker from Compass was Kharkov Battles, which is a game that I had been lent to do an unboxing. So there's already an unboxing on the channel, and I looked into it some and it was impressed with what I saw during the unboxing, so I grabbed it at Compass Expo. I am pleased to report that it is now fully punched, clipped, and organized. And at least the first 2 scenarios, you can kind of organize those on their own with no counter dependencies. So you can kind of put those in their own little baggies. Although I have them in a tray. One thing that I noticed, though, is that the counters are really, really thick. So I had to use the deluxe model clipper to clip them. Now, this is the new deluxe model, and I've made some modifications. The first thing I did was I glued 2 dice into the handle to make sure that the handle does not force itself closed all the way. That is of limited use when hammering through those thick counters. I hate to complain that the counters were too thick, but they're really thick, and it was really exhausting to clip all those. No, it's odds and ends, Jeff. It's odds and ends from all over the place. That's kind of the problem. There's like some trucks missing, and some air units missing, and some couple HQs missing, and all that stuff. DMJ284, thanks for stopping by. The second thing that I did was I took this plate off and I took the tape off. I don't deal with the tape. There's no tape on here. I know some people like to tape the cover over. I don't do that. I might try it, but it's not like that right now. But what I did was I took some ultra fine sandpaper and smoothed this out, and I smoothed out these guides here because these guides were really rough and the counters were dragging on them. So once I had kind of made my set of modifications to this, and that included, you might notice with the dice here that the dice have been mildly adjusted with a belt sander, just so that they sit correctly and so that the plates would contract as much as I would like them to. It's working pretty well. That said, and it's really fast, and that's a good thing. It is faster than I think the non-deluxe model, but it was exhausting packing through, and I was afraid this thing was still going to break, dice or no. So, Thomas Bandy is playing the Carl parody Absolute War. How is that? That looks pretty interesting. Carl is an interesting designer. He's got some interesting things to say. I passed on it because I didn't think it was in my wheelhouse, but I'd be curious, nevertheless, to know how other folks feel about it. You might gather, by the way, that we haven't actually played OCS in like 2 or 3 months. Just because of holidays and vacations and other stuff going on. So I'm getting the itch to play some OCS again as soon as we can. Now that might mean after the holidays, but you know, we'll do what we can. So hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Mickey Joof, thanks for stopping by. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name either, so if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. Feel free to correct me. So yeah, I mean, this is why I've got like giant Popeye forearms because of clipping with that thing. This is it's less noisy. It's pretty fast, even if it's not as fast as the deluxe model. And I've probably clipped 60,000 counters with this particular clipper. So now I know that some people like, is it Cataclysm? I think it's Cataclysm, I think. I might be misremembering the name of the game. There's one of those kind of area movement World War II games, kind of sandboxy, not Triumph and Tragedy. I think it's Cataclysm, which I played and did not care for. GMT Battle Line is shipping. There's a Mark Herman update too that Mark posted on, at least on Facebook. I'm not sure about. Carl Creeder's going to be playing On to Richmond. It's a great game, great series. And that particular title really showcases the strengths of the series. So we have a rule around here that I'm not supposed to buy myself stuff after, like, November. So I'm really trying not to buy anything else right now between now and Christmas. And let's face it, I got enough games. There are some additional things. I kind of went through the whole database, and there's about 10 things that are going to migrate their way into the next sale video, which I think I am going to plan on having in like the week after Christmas or maybe the first week of January. That's what I'm shooting for anyway. So yeah, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you are logged into YouTube. I would appreciate it. If you'd like to help support the channel, please do check out the links in the video description to the Patreon, the merch store, and the Ko-Fi. So Mark McGare has busted out OCS Korea. You notice I because I was going through these, I actually refilled the shelves up top there with OCS stuff. Other than the 2 things I think that are on the table here, one of which is Smolensk. I think that's all my OCS stuff. And I have the only OCS stuff I don't have is stuff that has been replaced by newer versions. So like Huba's Pocket is replaced by is made obsolete by the Third Winter, and Guderian's Blitzkrieg is made obsolete by Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2, of which I actually have 2 copies. The one on the shelf above my head, and then I have a first printing sitting downstairs too. So much appreciated, Mike. Thank you so much. We do have over 100 viewers, so I think we're going to do pretty well tonight, and I would hope so because we're giving stuff away. And I've I always kind of structure this stuff in a conscious way. So we've got giveaways. Now I will say I'll do one in about 20 minutes. And so the one I'm using right now, this is my standard non-deluxe. 2mm. My 2.5mm has not yet been returned by the TSA. Those dirty rats. This one is the 2.5mm deluxe that I picked up pretty recently. So we're gonna be talking a lot. So I actually got some water tonight. Ooh, that's warm. Ugh, gross. Anyway, Hopshead, New Zealand. Welcome back to the stream. So yeah, I mean, I do want to get the... All right, where am I at here? All right, I am messing things up. Chad is Playing Battle for Normandy, clipping Last Chance for Victory, and sorting Blitzkrieg Legend. Battle for Normandy is very good. Last Chance for Victory I haven't played, but I have played Line of Battle, and I like Line of Battle a lot. Of course, Blitzkrieg Legend is OCS. And in fact, Blitzkrieg Legend is the thing that we have on the table right now that we haven't touched in 3 months. So I think we're probably going to say we're going to not pick that back up and try something different whenever that is that we get back to actually playing, which would be great. But like I said, at this point, I'm not sure. Even if we like started next week, we'd only get like 2 in before the holidays. So, ooh, Jason W. just bought a custom gaming table with the removable tops. The ones from, I think, Board Game Tables, I forget whose tables I investigated. They're not that, I mean, if you get a nice one, it's going to be expensive, but it's not going to necessarily be more expensive than the piece of furniture of equal quality from somebody else, right? So, I notice a bunch of people playing Battle for Normandy. Battle for Normandy has just hit, not just as in probably last week, hit its P500 number, so it has made the cut. Now, you might recall years and years ago now that a new printing of Battle for Normandy was on P500 and got the boot because it wasn't moving fast enough. And we'll get to that news too, because we've got a GMT update to talk about. Ooh, Guderian's War. That one looks mildly interesting. Yes, Trevor, I would think that is a concern, but maybe I don't know that I'd be comfortable eating dinner on that table. You know what I'm saying? All right, so let's put some stuff away. So what I did with this one was I put all the transport, German and Russian, in one compartment, all the reserves in one compartment, German and Russian. And I got all the breakdowns, German and Russian, in another compartment. That's pretty easy because there's really not that many Russian reserve markers or Russian breakdowns. And the breakdowns in this particular game, at least, are intended to represent an actual hard limit. So you can't have more breakdowns than that. There was a battle for Sicily, but it had hit its number and then sat for 8 years. So GMT pulled it off. It might come back. I'm not sure what Dan Holt, the designer, has got going on. I know he's working on the new Battle for Normandy. I hope that comes out. So I will, whatever he wants to do, I'll be happy to buy. Let me put it that way. Jeff Beeler asks, which is more fun, Normandy 44 or Dark Summer? So Dark Summer's a bit faster playing, if that's important to you. I think you could probably play it in 3, 4, 5 hours, maybe. Battle for Normandy takes about twice that long. Not Battle for Normandy. That takes quite a bit more than twice. Normandy 44 takes about twice that amount of time to play. I really like Normandy 44. I can't really comment that closely on the Dark Summer except in a vague way. So I can tell you what it is. I can tell you who the designer is. It's a Ted Racer game. It's a chit pull game. It's the Dark system as debuted in the Dark Valley, which is very good, which I have played, but I haven't played the Dark Summer specifically. So one of the things that got pulled from P500 this month was the new printing of Roads to Leningrad. That's a real shame. I feel like I did as much pimping on that thing as anybody, because I wanted to see a new edition of it. So it is a real shame that we are not going to see that from GMT. GMT says they'll be happy to help Vance, find a new publisher for it, and I hope that happens because I think that series is a really good series. So before we forget to do this, Dan Holt also published a number of small games, a lot of which are Normandy games, through, I forget what the name of his company is. It might be DH Games or something like that. If you look up for the other game called Normandy 44, I believe that's one of his. Let's take a look at the GMT update. So this is, I mean, check the update out. It's at GMT's website if you're super interested in reading this whole thing. I am. Yes, there is news on Into the Woods. So if you want to read the whole thing verbatim, go read the whole thing verbatim. I'm just going to hit the highlights here. So miscellaneous, shipping. They just completed the second fall batch of P500 games. 12 games shipped out since early October. 9 more games in about 2 weeks. And everybody's off for Thanksgiving. Looks like as of today, the GMT folks are back at work. There's GMT merchandise. The Samurai Battles t-shirt is pretty cool. I hate white t-shirts. I got 2 white t-shirts of various Greg Smith games at Compass Expo, and I tried to wear one, and it on camera, on a stream, it might have been last week's stream or a stream with Dan, and it looked like I was glowing. It was completely unacceptable. So don't wear white on stream. And it's Teespring, which is who I go through as well, by the way. Check out the merch store. There's new merch. There are now hoodies with zip fronts and other stuff, and I'm really, really pleased with them. My sample, I think I will be really pleased with them. The pictures look great. My samples should be showing up at some point. So here's the back of Conquest and Consequence. That's the Pacific version of Triumph and Tragedy, which is a very good game. Here's the Horn of Africa Twilight Struggle mini game. Really not super into this. I feel like Twilight Struggle is enough Twilight Struggle for me, which is why I didn't like 1989 either. Here's a GMT1 update for Solitaire folks. Mark Herman's Pacific War video, we mentioned that last week. Out of stock reprints, blah 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 blah. Here is a giant picture of the Into the Woods components from designer Dick Whitaker. You'll notice the box design. I think it's a Mark Simonich box design. I really like it. I think it's a step up from the previous trade dress of the Great Battles of the American Civil War series. This is one I have on pre-order. We'll talk about that. Playtesters wanted testing for Downfall. That's the Chad Jensen game, the posthumous Chad Jensen World War II design, which does look fairly interesting. Here's the preview of Conquest and Consequence, which has a mountain of blocks, some cards. Looks like 3.5 counter sheets or something like that. A record sheet, and a rulebook and playbook, as you'd expect. I still have counter trays as of right now. I'm seriously thinking of ordering some more. Cutting edge vassal module for Almoravid, which is coming out pretty soon, I think. This is the next game 2 in the Levian campaign series. Please do check out the stream with Dan from last week where we talked to Volko about Levian campaign quite a bit. It is a very interesting looking series. It is my intention at some point to get Nevsky to the table. I am kind of trying to refocus on my core forte in wargaming, which is hex and counter stuff. Nevsky is the Levian campaign stuff. I have a couple, including Almoravid, on P500 order already as well. Is one of relatively few non-hex and counter things that has made the cut. I did see Mitch Land's review unboxing of Vietnam 65 to 75 as well. And in fact, I don't think that was this week. I think it was last week, because I thought we mentioned it last week. In fact, I think Mitch mentioned it last week. So, all right, let me make sure that Into the Woods is at the printer. We'll see that in a minute here. I want to make Chuck Charter, thanks for stopping by. Trevor Just, also here. Thanks for stopping by. I want to make sure I'm caught up with the chat. Red Flag Over Paris. That's another one. I'm really interested in the somehow in the Paris Commune now. So I got to have Fred's game on the Paris Commune. I did see the palette of Sacred Oil. I did check my email. I haven't gotten anything from them today, but I imagine that they will be raiding my wallet fairly soon. All right, P500 editions. Distant Plain fourth printing, no surprise here. This is a lot of people's favorite coin game. It's about the war in Afghanistan. It is very good. I've played it. I have a video, which is one of my top videos, actually, on the Distant Plain and a little walk through some of the mechanics. So the two new items are I, Napoleon, which is Ted Racer's self-described role-playing game. I wouldn't consider it a role-playing game, but I could see why Ted thinks it is. But it's nevertheless going to be a very narrative-driven game. I'm on the fence as to whether I'm going to get it or not. But it does look pretty neat. Plantagenet, Cousins War for England is Levian campaign once again. Again, go check the video with Volko out from last week with Dan and I, where we talked to him about Levian campaign quite a lot. Plantagenet, I forget who the designer is, and I'm not going to drill down into this page. It's not by Volko. Volko is not the designer. Free at Last looks super interesting, actually. I think I heard possibly from you about the development of that game and how they had a hard time finding a publisher that thought it was going to be viable, which I can completely understand. I haven't seen the Kickstarter, though, so we'll see. I'm about to get hit with a big Traveler Kickstarter, too. So Plantagenet is not 100 Years War. War of the Roses in Levian campaign, which is a natural fit for that system. I think it's going to work pretty well. Interesting things here. Inferno has almost, which is the previous new entry in Levian campaign series, that's almost hit its number. Downfall, the Chad Jemison finished by John Butterfield game, has well over its number. Battle for Normandy, this says 498, but it's higher than 500 now. And the Robin Hood game, which I think is another Fred Serval game, isn't it? I think so. I might be misremembering that. Mark, so we'll talk about the Mark Herman. I'll have to find it, but we'll talk about the Mark Herman update too. We're not gonna, again, if you're interested in any of these, go check the page out. I didn't push the button on either of these yet. I am definitely gonna push the button on Plantagenet. And I'm still thinking about I, Napoleon. All right, so Drought, Roads to Leningrad has been yoinked, unfortunately. It is a terrific game. That's a real shame. It offers a lot of play value, and I hope that Vance can rehome it. We'll talk about the Mark Herman thing in a little bit. All right, brief tease. New tactical air game from a favorite designer. I don't know who that would be. Maybe it's Lee Brimacombe Wood, who does so many other tactical air games. New coin content related to Fire in the Lake. No big surprise there. Smaller, faster playing game in the Levian campaign series. Big surprise for Combat Commander players. I'm not sure how surprised they'll be. And a new solitaire co-design involving Jerry White. Now, I will also mention that Harold Buchanan's channel has a talk that was a GMT kind of designer roundtable where everybody talked about their various projects. And this Jerry White design is talked about on there. So go listen to that. It's on Harold's channel. Well, wait for this show to be over, but then go listen to Harold's channel. So here's the War Room at Dice Tower West. We talked about that last week. GMT East, April 1st through 3rd in White Plains, New York. Low stock on these new Vivictus games. Frank Chadwick's ETO series update. That was talked about in the GMT update as well. We're going down to the section on what's actually in the pipeline. All right. They finished these 6 shipments, and I know that ID Jester ordered the whole big Penzer mega pack. I'm not really into that, but I do not need another modern or 20th century tactical game. Okay, that's why I'm not doing any of that. So charging today, they started charging today. Battle Line, CNC Ancients, 7th printing, Conquest and Consequence, Dominant Species, Red Flag over Paris. I have not yet been hit with that. Space Corps, well, not as of like 5 p.m. anyway. Space Corps, 2nd printing, Last 100 Yards, Volume 3, Solomon Islands, Triumph and Tragedy, Triad Struggle Deluxe. Okay, and they'll start shipping in the first few days of December, which starts, of course, this week. So we go into the At Sea Approaching Port. So they're saying that they're going to start shipping these things even though they're at sea approaching port. So that might be an optimistic. I don't know. Space Empire's Expansion 3 probably will show up in 2022. We'll get back to that. We're clipping Smolensk. So at the printer, no ship date. This is where I'm going to get annihilated. Morvid, Barbarossa Army Group Center, Into the Woods, Pacific War, Plains Indian Wars, which I did not pre-order, Salerno 43, which I did pre-order, U.S. Civil War, thank God I didn't need it because I already have it, and Vietnam 65 to 75, which is on order. So this stuff could all show up like January 1st, and then I'm hosed. So we'll see how that works. And then going to the printer this week, new printing of Empire of the Sun, Red Storm expansion, which I think I haven't ordered, but I probably should, because I've got Red Storm, and I have decided after some hemming and hawing that it has made the cut. And then Fields of Fire, for those who are into Fields of Fire, there's a new Fields of Fire game. And Churchill, which I have, and which I've thought about getting rid of on several occasions, and it's another one that I decided to not get rid of, and that we are going to hang on to. All right, so let's make sure that we are caught up here. So, yeah, in this wave, I'm only getting hit with Red Flag over Paris, which is relatively inexpensive. So I can live with that. Okay. I think that stuff that that it's probably safe to assume at this point that stuff that is en route, but they don't have a timetable for, is probably going to be very late December or early January. I think that's probably a fair guess. I hope that they don't hit me in the meantime. I mean, it'll be fine, but I've spent enough already. Well, I do have about 10 or so things that are going to go in the sale, so I hope to make room for those. Iggy Crichtel played SCS Guadalajara for the first time. That's a well-regarded SCS entry. So Bear Trap does sound interesting, but I decided it was not for me. It's cool topically. So Vance Van Bonbories, the designer, is now working on Army Group North and says that it should be much faster now that the core rules, the series rules, have been nailed down. It has been a long time, so very, very long. In fact, and we've talked about this before, it's been that thing has been, and I'm talking about Army Group Center now. That thing has been sitting on P500 for so long that the price looks crazy. It's like a 5-map, 4 counter sheet, something like that, 4 or 5 counter sheet game, and it's the P500 price is like $55 or $53 or something like that. So, I hope that we see Army Group North enter the print queue toward the end of 2022, and that's not based on info. That's a guess, but and I think that's probably an optimistic guess. But occasionally we could be right about being optimistic too. For the People is a fantastic game. For the People is the game that sold me on American Civil War as a game topic. That was not a topic I was into prior to that. Jeff Beeler says, isn't Deadlands a reboot of Gunfighter? No. All right, let's take a look at the Mark Herman update. This is at medium.com, Mark Herman 54. So, again, if you want to read this, Mark linked it off his Twitter account, and I shared it. So if you're following me and not following Mark, what are you doing? But you should be able to find it from there. Let me actually throw the link in the chat in case anybody wants to take a look at this. So Pacific War is on a boat. Mark is playing it right now. Reprints are at the printer now or a couple days ago. Empire of the Sun and or Churchill. The next C3I magazine will contain Mark's minigame Burma, which is another extract of Empire of the Sun, this time focusing on the CBI theater, which is interesting. So it's going to be another mini game / scenario on that is playable with Empire of the Sun. Let me put it that way. And I'll buy the magazine. Who am I kidding? Mark says he is a few months away from finishing Rebel Fury, which will cover Chickamauga, Chancellorsville, and the Wilderness, but also, because they take place in the same areas, Chattanooga, Fredericksburg, and Spotsylvania, plus the Wilderness campaign that takes us all the way to the battle at the North Anna River. Next project is Triumvir, which is a co-design with Jeff Engelstein. He is co-designer on Versailles 1919, which I do like. Triumvir I'm interested in too. I have not pulled the trigger on it yet. It is available for P500. And Mark mentions that he is working with Alan Ray to bring out Thunderbolt, the 3rd volume in the Ancient World series. This is a series I like a lot. And it turns out that because this can be done relatively easily, because they're all, I mean, the maps are all the same, right? This version of Thunderbolt should contain the previous 2 games as well. So, is really, if you think about it, all you really need to include is extra leader counters, and an extra map that you would need anyway for a Second Punic War. So, in early design is Caesar versus Gaul, based on, or Caesar versus Rome, covering the Civil Wars, based on the Mark Simonich system from Caesar versus Gaul and Hannibal versus Carthage, or Hannibal Rome versus Carthage. Peace of Nicaea, which looks like a small game like Fort Sumter. I'll be honest, I'm not like super crazy. I have played Fort Sumter. I got the digital version, and it's good. It's well designed. It's really just not my thing. So I think the Peace of Nicaea will probably also be not my thing. And then Mark teases some early projects that he can't talk about. So that's the Mark Herman update. Mark gets his own updates here. So what can I say? All right. So I had several. Let me see. Okay, so years and years ago, I had Barbarossa Army Group South and Army Group Center, and I never did get North, which was the third, but I had Typhoon as well. Those all became super duper collectible as they went out of print. So, it became, and then 2 more volumes in the series. Barbarossa Kiev to Rostov and Barbarossa Crimea were released more recently. And I had those 2, and they went away and pay it forwards and things like that. Yeah, Thunderbolt's not on P500 yet. That's a day 1 order for me. So I got rid of Kiev to Rostov and Crimea and regretted it as I do, and this is another one of those things, although I didn't rebuy these recently. So by exercising some patience, I managed to pick up Typhoon, Army Group South, Army Group Center, Crimea for not crazy prices. Todd from Wardrobe / Itinerant Hobbyist was kind enough to ship me a copy of Kiev to Rostov, so I have that. And the only one I'm missing is Armor Group Center, which is still going for crazy prices, but which I'm not really terribly in a big rush to go buy on the secondary market because the new one's coming like any time. So I do think that series is fairly interesting. I do think it, many people are probably gonna say it's a better solitaire game than it is an opposed game because the Soviets are tough to play. That's true of a lot of East Front games. Certainly, it can be true of OCS as well. But one of the things that Smolensk shows, and you can do this in OCS, it's harder to show this in the East Front series because of the asymmetrical turn sequence. Is that the Soviets, pretty much starting at that engagement around Smolensk, really do have a lot of power to hit back. So, which is one reason why Smolensk is terrific. So let me talk about, and we're gonna get to, let me pull this up because we need to. Let me talk about, what was I going to even talk about? I don't even know. All right, let's do a giveaway. All right, so here's how this is going to work. I am going to do not type anything in the chat yet. We are going to keep track of numbers typed in the chat. We'll do a selection, and if you are selected, please email me at Ardwulf's Lair, no spaces, no punctuation, at gmail.com with your address. If you are not in the U.S., then I will ask you, this is going to be true of all the giveaways tonight, then I will ask you to help me out with shipping. Generally speaking, I've split it 50-50, and that turns out to be about a little bit more than I would pay to ship it in the U.S. So that works. Chad Canetti says, any of the series covered Barbarossa besides the East Front series or Europa? I mean, so yeah, there's that. So I have unboxings of this coming. There's the Destroy All Monsters series from Conflicts Simulations LLC. That's an Army Group North, Army Group South, and Army Group Center. They're all fairly small games, but you could put the whole thing together and get about a map and a half game with reasonably, a decent number of counters. It actually looks quite neat. There's, of course, full East Front games. You get that experience in something like the Dark Valley, which is very good. Another thing that I picked up, you can't really see it, is Russia Besieged. That came in the Footlocker from Compass as well. That's supposed to be good, but I haven't played it yet. So Barbarossa specifically, there's odds and ends here and there. I mean, this is 1941 as well, right? This is Operation Typhoon. So, all right. So I'm going to have folks enter. Let's see how many people we got. We got 74 people. What happened? That might not be an accurate number. All right. So I'm going to have folks enter numbers between 1 and 100 into the chat starting now. If you win one thing, you are not eligible for future things, so bear that in mind. Now, if you decide, hey, I won that and I want to wait, we can roll again too. That's totally cool. So you can start typing your numbers between 1 and 100 in there right now, and we will be giving away a new copy. It's been opened because this is the one I unboxed of Napoleon's Imperium from Compass Games, and hell of a nice guy, designer Andrew Rowland from Australia, who's often here, but he is not here tonight. I'd laugh if he puts himself in for to win his own game. That would be hilarious. And it's heavy. There's a lot in here, and it's like a solid box of counters, to be honest. I tried to mix this up a little bit. So I'll give this a minute or two to percolate, and we will give one of these away. And do mention in the email which game you won, because we're gonna give away 5 things, 4 games, and a special thing at the end. So, and I'm gonna put these counters in the tray, and then we will move on. Boy, there's a lot of counters in this game. This is gonna be a quite full counter tray. But I think it's manageable. I'm wondering now if I can get all of Baltic Gap in one counter tray, because that's all that'll fit in that box. Nevertheless, I think we're going to be okay. There's going to be one really overstuffed compartment. That's not so bad, actually. All right, so first number to call it, to call it. So if somebody says 16 and number 16 gets pulled, we will go with the first number 16, but maybe I'll have, maybe we'll do something special if there's a tie. We'll see. All right, I am going to start typing. You have a minute to, you have about 30 seconds. Oops, I'm having trouble typing, which could be the Scotch, to be honest. All right, you got about 30 more seconds to put your numbers in for Napoleon's Imperium if you want it. It is a pretty interesting looking game. I would think of it as more a game like I don't want to say Cosmic Encounter. It's more of a multiplayer game than it is a Napoleonic strategic simulation. It is not a Napoleonic strategic simulation. Let me put it that way. All right. So, holy cow, we have hit a new record of 141 people. So bear that in mind. I am about to. I'm gonna call it here. I'm cutting it off. Boom. End of entries for Napoleon's Imperium, and I am going to generate the number. Let me scroll up to the top of the entries. And our number is 68. So let's see if anybody had 68. Dave 1013 has a 67. Trevor Just has a 69. Scrolling through. Gamer 8567 has a 67. Ken Porter has a 67. There's a lot of 67s. 67 from Matt Davidson. Wait, we got one. Michael Head. Michael Head has a 68. Did anybody else have a 68? Let's see. Want to make sure. Adrian Okoa says 150. A lot of 67s, though. A lot of people were really close here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Since I'm doing this manually like a friggin' caveman instead of getting technology to do it for me, which I will eventually do, but... Okay, the winner is Michael Head. Wins Napoleon's Imperium. If you do not want it, say so now, and you can be in the next drawing, and I'll spin another number out. Otherwise, please send me an email. Again, it's Ardwulf's Lair, all one word, no punctuation, @gmail.com. With your address, mention Napoleon's Imperium in the email, so that I send you the right game and not a random game. Congratulations, Michael. So we have the winner, the first giveaway winner. We'll give another one away in 20 minutes or so. I'm trying to be structured about this. I'm not that well organized. I saved my organization for the shelf, you know. So if it would have been 67, it would have been a friggin' nightmare, and we would have had to have like a 6-way roll off. So. All right, let's go back here to this guy. As his 50th anniversary stream celebration, there might be extra scotch tonight. Let's make sure we have enough water to keep up with that. Okay, so used Wargames. The perils of buying used Wargames. So what prompted this topic was actually the very first counterclipping show where I talked about Case Blue and blah, 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 blah. And it's been like a year, and I just finished fooling with it literally yesterday or the day before. And, you know, with the realization that it's missing some stuff. So the difficulty, though, was that along with that Case Blue is errata counters for various games. One full copy of Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2, and it all mixed together in literally about 40 counter trays, and the about another copy and a half, but not another complete copy and a half of Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2. So it has been like a special pain in the ass to go through that. I mean, I got this stuff for a really good price, so I can't complain. And like I said, if my Case Blue happens to be missing some stuff, I'll make replacement pieces and I will call it, and I'm happy with the price I paid. And thank you, Dave, and I will be, you know, delighted to keep that thing forever. It is not going anywhere. Now, I would have bought replacement counter sheets if Multiman had any of them, but they did not, so we might need to do 150 for next time, actually, and I think we will. I think we'll go just say go 200, in fact. So we do have... There's only 3 things in the pile next to me, but so I got to remember that there's 4 more giveaways, all right, as we go on through the evening. So once again, I would like to thank everybody for stopping by, not only tonight, but in general, you know, everybody who has kind of made the counterclipping show what it has become, which has kind of turned into a much more well-attended event than I would have guessed in my most fabulous imaginings. Because, you know, I didn't think that folks would want to sit here and listen to me blah, 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 while I clip counters. But it turns out that I must be entertaining to somebody. So, yeah, well, it was a thing where we were playing the whole thing, and I'm pretty sure that's the copy we were playing, and it just got all put away together. Disaster. So what I had to do, and I'll actually show you this, but first I'm gonna keep thanking people, so bear with me here. I think I've shown this off before. So I would also like to thank the patrons specifically. And I mean, I've got like new patrons all the time, and I had a new fella signed up today. So let me give those shout outs before we continue. So I'd like to thank the Command Tent, Bobby Ramsey, Gordon Blizzard, Brant G., Jeffrey Beeler, Alan Salazar, Vince Reed, Dan Freeborn, Robert Hughes, Jeff Ochimura, Stephen Josky. Those are the veteran level patrons. So thank you very much to all of those folks, some of whom are here tonight. At the warrior level, we have David Elaines, not sure how to pronounce that. Sorry, David. Brian Fung, Stephen Balbach, Mark Flanagan, John Friesen, Stephen J. Allen, Krusty Captain, Martin Solemn, Wade Moore, Brian, and John Sleeper. So thank you to the warrior level patrons. Your support, everybody's support. I don't want to say that just for folks at this level. Everybody's support is enormously appreciated, and it really does make a big difference. I know I spend a lot of money on games, but there's a lot of things that I was able to do with the camera and the microphone and the arm that holds the microphone, and the arms that hold the camera above where I film stuff that I wouldn't be able to do if it wasn't for the folks who have become patrons. At the swordsman level, we have Pat Mullen, Dan Webb, Bill Simoni, No Enemies Here, Mr. Dan Pancaldi himself, Douglas Gearhart, John Longshore, Dennis Mullen, Kevin Bertram, might I add, Charles S. Roberts award-winning Kevin Bertram, Rob Moffat, Scooter Jack, Carl Creeder, Vienna Grog, Mike Anthony, Brian Gash, David Wilkinson, Fred O'Sullivan, Michael Sundborg, Joel, Chet Bell, and Findle. Thank you folks again for your support. At the hero level, I'd like to thank Stephen O'Brien, John Nolan, Dan Webb, Robert Reese, Matthew Hudson, Michael Heckman, and Purple Norseman. And at the very highly ranked Myrmidon level, I would like to thank Jim Davis. I would also like to share special thanks to the folks that aren't patrons but have nevertheless done a lot to help support the channel over the years. Those people include John Longshore, of course, who's been an incredible friend to the channel. SW, whose privacy I would like to protect, but who continues to contribute to the channel to this day. Dave Minery, who gave me a wonderful bottle of booze to enjoy on the streams, and with whom I also, was also the person that I got Case Blue from. So there's that. So this is really kind of Dave's fault. And of course, the legendary Fucko, without whom we would have a much less robust upcoming schedule of unboxing videos. So thank everybody that I just mentioned so much, as we are in the home stretch of 2021, and I hope that we'll all have a better year next year. Right? So let me show you my absolutely asinine method for keeping track of Case Blue. So what this is an Inkscape document in which I have embedded all of the Case Blue counter sheets, and it was to my advantage to lower the opacity. I felt like that was a good idea. So what I actually did was I made a little check mark symbol and actually checked off each counter as I found it in the box, sorted through, with extreme tedium. And then as I cleared each block of 20 counters, I put one of these blocks over it so I wouldn't have to look at it anymore. And this is the end result. So this, like I said, this was like a year in the making for Case Blue. And part of that was extracting that complete copy of Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2 as well. So that, that was a factor. I need to pay attention to this because I've actually got some Cav units in this mix that I think are going with 2nd Panzer Corps. So yeah, this is not necessarily the fastest way to do this, but this is the way I was most comfortable with deciding that, I had specific pieces. And then, of course, I had finished trays that I would then move the pieces to as I checked them off on this giant asinine sheet. So, and I did get the whole game into 4 trays. I'm not entirely sure I couldn't have got it into 3 trays. I'm not sure I could have. I think it might be possible to fit it in 3 trays, but it would be grotesquely overstuffed trays if I did that. Well, Mike, you're absolutely right. For a lesser game, it wouldn't have been worth the effort. But for Case Blue, a copy of Case Blue went on eBay for actual auction, right? Not hey, Rando wants $800 for it. And I think it was opened but unpunched, and it went at auction for like $7.99 or $7.80 or something like that. Oh my God, it was crazy. So it's like legitimately worth big dollars. And it's an enormous game, right? But to be honest, I mean I wouldn't pay $600 for it. That's a crazy price. Whoops. Now when we played it with I think the bottom 2/3 of GB2 as well, which is how all the counters got mixed together. So. Yes, Jason LaRiviere, yes, you play with the copy you've got, not the one you would like to have. So, all right, let's catch up on the chat. So I'm happy to report that we are now, nobody smokes in the house. Let me put it that way. My wife does still smoke. I am, 2 years plus. It is actually more than 2 years now. Nicotine free or tobacco free, and over a year nicotine free. And I'm still occasionally, doing the vape thing, but boy, not very much anymore. I have thought about talking more about the Scotch, actually. That has occurred to me, but I can only fit so much content in these 2 hours. So it's a $1, $3, $5, $10, $25 Patreon tier. You can find all that information on the Patreon page. Any new supporters will be greatly thanked. I do the Patreon thanks at the end of every unboxing video, and I chose the unboxing video specifically for that because I am very seldom have I missed a week with no unboxing videos, and this week there should be 2, one of which is filmed and scheduled already, and the other of which I still have to edit. So, and there will be the Compass Games Expo loot video, and that's tomorrow. So that's not unboxing though. Half-Ass Gaming, that is a great question. How do you lose these 34 specific counters? I don't know, and they're just random counters too. I just, at this point, I've decided they're not here. I've gone through everything at least twice, and my patience to go through it again is non-existent. So I'll just make replacements. How long does the Case Blue setup take? About 20 man-hours. That's how long it took us. Which meant we all did it in one sitting, but there were 4 of us at the time. Trevor just asked the next raffle game. We'll get to that in a little bit here. I'm still working on it. Yeah, Hop said New Zealand. That's the one I'm talking about. 651. That I was keeping an eye on that too. I wasn't bidding on it. That's too rich for me. But I was keeping an eye on it because I wanted to see what it went for. Now, on the other hand, an unpunched first printing Gadarian's Blitzkrieg 2 went for something like $86. So if you are patient, you can score a GB2, which is a fabulous game, by the way, on its own. You can get one for $100, or plus or minus $15 or $20. So much more affordable. Now, the crazy people want $300 or $400 for it. Just don't pay for those people. So this thing, I mean, it's the overwhelming phenolic nature of Ardbeg. It's one of the most highly peated scotches. I don't think it's the most peaty tasting. I think Laphroaig is, generally speaking. But you definitely have that sort of chemical taste. Is stronger with Ardbeg than it is with Laphroaig or Kalila. Kalila has much more of an earthy minerality to it. This is much more of a sort of chemical peat flavor, and that makes it sound negative, and it's not actually negative. I do actually like Ardbeg. Jeff Anderson, you might actually be totally right about that. Is just start playing and just make the missing counters as you need them. Daniel asks, what's the most I've paid for a used game? $275. And it was for that. Now, that's technically used, but it's unpunched except for the one missing counter. So now, if anybody's got like loose counters from Case Blue, please get in touch with me, ardwulfslair@gmail.com, because I'll take replacements, but I don't think anybody's going to take me up on that particular offer. That's the other thing, as Tom Borman mentions, used wargame pricing is really volatile, and there's somebody that's getting $350 for a copy of GB2. It's not, I don't think that's a reasonable price, but there's somebody that got that. That's why it's going for that price. But then a perfectly good copy yesterday went for like 86, 87, something like that dollars. So you do not need to pay that money. But, check all the various places, right? Check BGG Marketplace. Check the Consum World Marketplace, which there is one. A lot of people don't know because it's a lot less known than the BGG Marketplace. And frankly, it's way less organized. That's part of first cab, right? Yeah. All right. We are like 10 counters away from finishing clipping Smolensk, by the way, because I got started early on it tonight. Brant, thanks for stopping by. At one point, I was able to say that I hadn't paid that much for a used game, but that's all changed in the last year or so. So, Alan Salazar, you've missed the first giveaway, but you're about to hit the second. So let's load up a tray here, and then we will do another giveaway. Very overstuffed. But, you do what you have to do to get these things in the boxes. I always prefer to keep the whole thing in the box, but, sometimes you just can't. And unfortunately, a lot of OCS games you just can't. Although, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, the box bulges, but I got it in the bulgy Case Blue box, so I guess I can't complain too much. All right, the next giveaway is a game that I have played. So it is lightly played. It was played once, but we enjoyed it a lot. This is Worthington Games' Struggle for Europe. It's World War II in Europe, playable in 2 hours, and it actually works. It does what it says on the box. It's a pretty nice game. I'm very happy with it, but I have decided that I cannot spare the space for it anymore because I just bought another 7 inches of World War II strategic level games. So Struggle for Europe can be yours for the low price of entering, starting right now, in the chat, a number between 1 and 200. If you win, you can email me at ardwulfslair@gmail.com. Please include your address and the game that you won, and mention that, and if you're offshore, then I'll ask you to help with shipping. So you can put your numbers between 1 and 200 in the chat right now. We have 150 watching, by the way, for Struggle for Europe. It is a very good game. I would call it a light war game. It's a very nice and very high production values too. Marco Arnaudo actually has a video review of it if you want to check it out, but you can't watch that and still get in on this. So I did like it quite a bit. Let me put it that way. Okay, and we're going to go back to random.org, and this time we're going to go 200. So we should be able to have a little less duplication. That advanced ETO goes for a big chunk of money. I thought about buying advanced PTO, which I think is either still available from Decision or still available on the secondary market for about its retail price. It looks super duper bloated. I actually have, you might notice down there on the shelf, I have the original Deluxe ETO and PTO, and I actually think those are underappreciated games. I am more likely to revisit those than to go with Advanced ETO and PTO, which I think are generally unattractively I think the counters are unattractively designed. The maps are fine. And looking at the rule books for Advanced PTO specifically, it looks pretty bloated. I would be very curious to know if Worthington has a struggle for the Pacific en route. It wouldn't surprise me particularly. I haven't talked to those folks in quite a while. All right, as before, we'll figure something out if there's duplication. I am going to cut this off in about 30 seconds. So if you want to get in on the giveaway for Struggle for Europe, please do. All right, I'm about to push the button of cutting it off, but first I'm going to finish this last sip of scotch. All right, again, we've got a ways to go on this bottle. No one is more surprised than me that this has taken off as bigly as it has. I was like, hey, like 30 people watched this Case Blue thing, so let's keep doing that. And now we're at like 150 something. I don't know if that was a peak. 153 at this exact moment. All right, I'm cutting it off. Please do give the video a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. And I know that a lot of folks who are watching tonight are already subscribed. Please do consider becoming a supporter of Ardwulf's Lair via the Patreon or the merch store or the Ko-Fi, and all of which are linked in the video description. So let's go back to random.org, 1 to 200. The big finger, hey, I'll take thumbs down. That's okay. It doesn't affect the algorithm at all. We have done the cutoff. Let us roll the dice. 13 is the number. We went all the way to 200. We got 13. All right. Thank God. Like number 6 on the list is John Nolan at number 13. Does anybody else have number 13? Thomas Bandy has number 13. All right, so we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do here. John Nolan has won Struggle for Europe, however. All right, so John Nolan, please email me with your address at ardwulfslair@gmail.com. And mention that you won Struggle for Europe. All right, so I'm looking through I'm continuing to look through the list here. Thomas Bandy, you had more than one number. You had a 137 and then a 13. That is. I thought I said that, but I am going to take your first number, and we're going to count that. So I apologize if that's disappointing, but you can each enter only one. Well, you can enter as many numbers as you want, but I'm gonna take the first number that you put in. So congratulations to John Nolan. Please email me, and we'll do another giveaway in 20 minutes or so. So. We might go a little long tonight, too, by the way. Just so y'all know that's coming. I was, as a teen who was kind of, raised in the suburbs of the west side of Cleveland, I was not a person that used the word y'all. But, man, that's a useful word. So I have adopted it because it's just so damn useful. So... All right, so, and again, we've got one more courtesy me and Compass Games, and then we have one more courtesy of John Longshore, and then we have the special thing that I think we'll probably do at right around 10 o'clock, and then we'll talk a little bit more run a little bit long because it's a special show after all. And hey, I got a lot of scotch to drink. So at some point, I got to take that trip to Kentucky to buy more scotch. So all right. 28 millimeter RPG. Stay tuned. So, well, I mean, there's that yins that's used in certain parts of Pennsylvania too. I don't even understand what the etymological roots of that are. So, hey, maybe I should hoard counter trays and then have a big counter tray giveaway when GMT next runs out of counter trays. That is actually a fantastic idea. They're only $2. GTS versus CSS. CSS is a somewhat streamlined iteration of GTS, but then it goes back in and adds a little more chrome in a couple of places. I like both systems, to be completely honest about it. I think they are both pretty compelling. The basis of those systems is identical, right? Where you have the command point and dispatch point economy that kind of underlies both games. That's in both games. Where you kind of activate stuff by either division or formation. That's in both games. But honestly, I'm pretty fully, thoroughly invested in both at this point. I mean, I've got, I did an unboxing on Telemar, which I just picked up. There's an unboxing coming of The Little Land. There you go. Brian Gash is going to put his counter trays up on eBay. And Doug, of course, mentions the difference between y'all and all y'all, which is also a useful distinction, actually. So, the Tabletop's Edge is here. So speaking of the Tabletop's Edge, he's got an excellent video that he released a couple of days ago. What is the ideal starter OCS game? And he lands on Smolensk as the ideal OCS starter game. I don't agree with him, sort of. But now, if you're interested, it is a good starter game. There are scenarios in addition to the campaign. It's relatively high density, but it does teach you all of the OCS supply pieces, including extenders, which a game like, say, Tunisia 2 does not do. Tunisia 2 does not have extenders. So I posted on his video. Go watch that video. It's very good. He goes through his specific reasoning about why he is picking Smolensk, and I agree with everything that he said. So I think at this point, y'all is kind of becoming standardized among people not from the South at this point, because it is just so damn useful. So, Brent, thanks for stopping by. He's going to go watch some mediocre TV. Let me get some water here. If I'd have planned this out better, if I was organized, I'd have had the Ardwulf's Lair swag cup. His World in Flames videos, we gotta play World in Flames. So that is a thing that has to happen. Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2 is like that too. On the German side, a lot depends on that first turn or two. That's generally true. So Brian Gash, a decision at Elf is like the only starter kit item I need, and I'm just not willing to pay what it goes for. So, Perfidious Albion, I have actually hopped in on Jim's streams some of the times, but I have never actually played because well, not always. It depends what he's doing. Sometimes he does things like old SPI quads and stuff, and that's totally, it's not really 100% in my bailiwick, but certainly it's not totally alien to me. But the miniature stuff, and Jim's into that. That's cool. I'm just not into that. So, channel of the week. I didn't mention a channel of the week. So today's channel of the week is Games from the Front. That is Ty Snoffer's channel. He's one of the fellows I played GTS Market Garden with. It's a great channel. He's got a lot. He doesn't do a lot of output. So Ty, if you're watching, do more videos. But he's got some really good GTS videos. So if you're interested in GTS specifically, you may already have encountered Games from the Front. Daniel, first of all, welcome to the stream, and yes, I am also glued to the screen for his playthrough, as great, enthralling playthrough of the last Blitzkrieg. Super narrative, really highlights the joys of that system. Marty, thanks for stopping by. Marty is who I got my first copy of GB2 from. World in Flames, it's really not that bad anymore because you only really need the big box, right? You get the big box, which costs like $200, but it's got like an actual ton of stuff in it. And it's Australian dollars, so it's like $11.95 in American money, and you're shocked at how low the price is for the amount of stuff that you're getting, and you really never need anything else. Let's see here. Rich L. Camp 1's minor league baseball team is called the Yalls. Okay, Achilles, thanks for stopping by. John Keyports asks, if I were to publish a game, what topic would it be? What publisher would I want to work with? And what mechanical ideas pop out to me? Okay, hold on. I'm going to answer that in a slightly, maybe you didn't expect it quite type of way. And I got to actually find the file, so bear with me here. Which means I got to remember where I put the file. I have occasionally farted around with game design ideas, okay? I feel like at this point I have lost the thread for trying to do an RPG, because I haven't done an RPG in a long time. And these ideas almost never get past the make encounters phase of things. So this is the current project. I was fooling with this over the weekend. I'll let you infer your own. Well, I mean, if you know what you're looking at, it's division level East Front, with some kind of flexible scale thing going on where there's multiple counters for the formations, but none of this is like what we would call serious game design work at this point. The order of battle that I've worked out has about 80 or 90 German units in it for Army Group North. This is Army Group North, which I am reading about, and which I think is an interesting choice of topic because it is the part of the East Front where, in part due to withdrawal of valuable resources like 4th Panzer Group, the Germans stopped making progress after a while. As far as what publisher I'd want to work with, I have no idea. I have not thought anything like that far ahead, and I'm not sure I'm going to, but I mean, there's certainly plenty of publishers I like a lot. I like MMP a lot. I like GMT a lot. I like Compass a lot. I don't even hate Decision all that much, although they seem to have their own internal development process, however that works. So that's not like I would call Doc up and say, hey, Doc, you want to publish this? I'm sure he would laugh at me. So no thanks. On this methodology, there is a specific... This counter color is Army Group North. Okay? And then these two counter colors are the two Soviet fronts that end up opposing Army Group North. So the counter color represents the Army Group. The colored band on the counter represents the Army. This is on the German side. And the symbol color represents the Corps. So the Corps is like the basic functional unit in this game. No mechanical details have been worked out here. So really, if you thought of this as just me playing with counter designs, you would not be far off. So... nevertheless, I do think the counters look pretty good, so I'm happy enough with that. So, and probably would end up making the unit symbol black on that division. It's not so that division actually changes at some point during this time frame. I believe. So, but before or right around the end of 1941, that gets turned into a different kind of division. I did find some OB work on that subject. It's not super easy to find, and who's the fellow that did the Order of Battle books? Those books are really expensive, so I didn't find them. These are intended to be half-inch. I have it planned out as half-inch counters, so no sense making them small, right? Why make the numbers small? Rocket City Trash Pandas baseball team. Okay. That is Inkscape. We'll do the video for the counter making video kind of went in the toilet, so we're going to have to revisit that subject at a later time. I will do another video tutorial on how to make counters. No, they were not all of the same capability, but I'm working out an order of battle here, so those fine distinctions of raising or lowering some factors is something that I would have ended up doing later. I've looked at the order of battle stuff I have is the Nafziger stuff. The other guy, I'm not sure, I can't remember the name, and I don't want to pull up Discord because I got the name in Discord. And I've got an actual physical book on the Soviet order of battle, but it's very high level and not really useful at this scale. And I've got a set of 3 books on the German order of battle, but it's pretty much at the divisional level and doesn't give me enough detail inside the divisions as what I want. I don't think they're in a box somewhere, so I haven't actually looked at them since I started this fooling around with this project. So the idea here would be to do the Army Group North area of operations to around the end of 1941, at around 20 miles, 15 to 20 miles to the hex. So that's the plan. See if the map is not what I'd call presentable, but so that's the map in the works, as it were. And of course, you can blow this whole thing up because I'm an idiot. If I want to do the entire east front, the map plan is worked out to put the whole east front on 8.5 maps, pretty much, which is not that dissimilar a scale from Europa, which is 16 miles to the hex. So yeah, Chad, I think that's right. I think it's basically a mechanized division. I'm not sure it's actually a Panzer Grenadier unit. I think there's a Panzer Grenadier regiment and some motorized regiments or battalions, and I think those all get converted when it gets turned into an actual Panzer division. So, and I am working on it in a spreadsheet. I did these counters, and then I moved to a spreadsheet to work out the counters. And you can, of course, look at the TOEs and stuff like that to get a sense of what goes where. And hey, this was a reinforced division that had an extra regiment or something like that, or this was a shorthanded division that was full of scrubs. And you can work with that. At some point you have to actually play test it, which means you got to actually write rules and finish something to the point of playtestability. Nothing I've ever worked on has, with the exception of my sci-fi RPG, has ever reached that point. And I did that. I put it on the internet, and nobody noticed. So I was very discouraged by it. So this is basically off of one of the U.S. Army maps, actually, based off of one of the U.S. Army maps. So there's some interesting things that interlibrary loan and a scanner, or even a cell phone camera, actually, is a really good idea. And I've got access to the Ohio State University Library, which is a fantastic library. So all I got to do is go down there and show an old Buck ID and get in, and I'd be fine. So Chad Kennedy has some German OOB information. It's actually harder to find. The sci-fi RPG is called Our Share of Glory, named in tribute to a C.M. Kornbluth story, I believe, from the 50s. So I finished the core game, and nobody noticed, so I kind of never picked it back up again. So Jeff Beeler mentions Victory in the West again. It's, such an influential set of designs that I really feel like so many modern designers are looking back at that and saying, boy, this thing was loaded with great ideas now. So I have not played Absolute Victory. Robot Has a Heart. First of all, thanks for stopping by. I have not played Absolute Victory, but it is something that we've got a semi-local fella who likes Absolute Victory a lot and wants to play it, and I keep getting on the almost played it list. So we will, I think there's an excellent chance that I will end up playing it at some point. I guess it's not particularly difficult to play, from what I understand. All right, Hethwill is here. Thanks for stopping by. We will be having another giveaway in a couple minutes. So, giveaway number 3. 3, right? Okay. And it's a good one, too, by the way. All right. Catching up to the chat. Gents. Gents is not it. Nigel Askey is the guy I'm thinking of. Has done a series of books, like 4 volumes or so, where he presents like a complete statistical model of the East Front, and then he goes in volume by volume. But the volumes are really expensive, so I would have to do an option like go to the library and do that. And I ain't got that kind of time. So I mean, I'm lucky I get to do laundry sometimes. You know what I'm saying? There was a game based on the High Crusade in the pages of Ares magazine back in the day. I want to say that was after the magazine went from TSR from SPI to TSR. TSR kept it around for 2, 3, 4 issues or something like that before they folded it into. I want to give away something somebody wants, Trevor, not trash. Nobody wants that. So. Highest prayer. Oh, so Stegler mentioned. So one of the things that is discussed in that GMT roundtable from the San Diego Historical Games Convention, which is on Harold Buchanan's channel, is Great Battles of the American Civil War. There's a whole bunch of interesting things in the pipeline for that, including Alan's item that is going to make an ideal intro kit to the Great Battles of the American Civil War. So, Alan, if you want to mention that in the chat, go ahead. I don't want to lean on you to talk about something you're not comfortable talking about with yet. But so, Phil will be doing another giveaway in a couple of minutes here. The next giveaway is going to be, once again, this is opened, unboxed, but not played, and unpunched. No Motherland Without. This is a super interesting looking game that I saw on the table at Compass Expo. This is a design by Dan Bullock, project director Billy Thomas, and it's a really neat looking game. This is another one that's like, man, I can't keep this. I could sell it, but I'd rather give it to you folks. I can't really sell it actually because this was a comp copy from Compass Games. But I don't feel bad giving it away at all because then I can thank Compass Games for being such swell fellas. So No Motherland Without. So once again, if you have won a game already, you are not eligible for No Motherland Without. I will warn you that there's one more giveaway, which is an RPG item. And then there's the special giveaway at the very end. But you can only win one thing. So put in one number. The first number that you put in is the number I will count for you. And if you win by picking the right number, then you will email me at ardwulfslair@gmail.com and with your address and say that you won No Motherland Without. Go ahead and put in numbers between 1 and 200 into the chat starting now. It is a neat looking game, and not a game that exists. Not a game that exists in a very populated space. So we'll let that go for a couple minutes. Okay, Alan doesn't want to talk about it yet, which I understand. It is a project that's in development, and he's not totally sure about it yet. So, And I think it sounds really good from what they were saying in the GMT update seminar. So how many people do we got right now? 155. That is our new record. Actually, it isn't. We had 159 earlier. Nope, we had 161 earlier. So we've had a little bit of drop off, but I'm like giving stuff away as fast as I can while still talking. No Motherland Without does look really neat. Like I said, I'm trying to kind of narrow my focus here, narrow the focus of the library because I got a lot of stuff, and I'm out of room. so I've got 15 boxes of Wargames sitting over here. One box is magazines, the rest of it's all Wargames. There is, in addition, 2 boxes of Wargames that are still in the storage unit, which I got to get out, but I got to go to the storage unit to do that, and I haven't done that yet. So I'm going to cut off the numbers for No Motherland Without very shortly. Let me pull back random.org once again. Normally, I like to shake the random number generator out by like hitting it a bunch of times and then saying, okay, now we're live. But I'm not doing that in this case because I don't want to skew the results or make it look like I'm doing something shifty. So Ray Musselman asked about the Nafziger OBs. Yeah, and I've my primary, well, not primary, but my main source for OB information is the Nafziger stuff that's online right now. So, all right, I am about to cut off. I mean, you don't really need to dumb down. I don't think you well, it depends. I mean, like something like Gauss, where it's like orders of magnitude more complicated than your average game, then I think maybe you need to strip it down to make it easier to get into. But with the caveat that you want people to move on to the full game rules. For Great Battle of the American Civil War, while it's a bit fussy in places, I don't think you need to do that. So somebody asked, and I apologize for not getting to this question before, where I bought these shelves. These shelves were $20 shelves from Walmart. I've had them for about 7 or 8 years. Probably about 7 years. And there's 3 of them. There's one off camera that you can't see. They're garbage. They're garbage shelves. But they were like 20. They're like, 5 shelf full height bookcases for like $20. So, and for board games, for war games which generally are not that heavy, I'm pretty comfortable. All right, I'm cutting off No Motherland Without, and we're going to generate the number. The number is 64. All right, let's see. We're going to do this in an organized way and search for 64. Nobody got 64. We're going to pull another number. 142. All right, we have 3 people who have 142. Adam McDonald, Daniel Silverthorne, and Perfidious Albion. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but we've got to get, because I said this is the way I was going to do it. The first person that threw the number in gets it. Adam McDonald is the winner. Is Adam McDonald. So let's capture Daniel Silverthorne. Dan, you've already won something from me in a previous giveaway, but I'm not going to hold that against you. I'm going to put your name down here. Same with you, Perfidious Albion. You guys are going to go on the runners-up list. And we'll do something for you in a little bit, okay? All right, so we're back up to 154, 156, something like that. All right. Oh, Adam McDonald says he bows out. Okay, so in that case, we're going to go for the number 2 person who has the list. I'm going to put Adam McDonald in here too, actually. So here's what I'm going to do. Adam, I'm going to move you to the runners-up list. And I'm going to give it to Dan Silverthorne, who is number 2 on the list with number 142. So Dan, please email me again with your info and mention that you won No Motherland Without, and we will get that out to you soonish. Probably won't happen till I probably won't get to the post office till Friday or Saturday. But let's set realistic expectations here. John, I'll give it a little more time next time. How about that? But the buffer, you might be getting buffered, but I gave it at least 5 minutes before I hit the cutoff. So we will do something special for Perfidious Albion and Adam McDonald. I got to figure out what that's going to be. And we might be doing it next week. We'll see. So, but I'll put them on the short list for something else. Dan did win before, but he won in a previous show, so he counts. He's legal here. So, anyway, if you're curious as to what this tastes like, it tastes a lot like gasoline. It's not getting better as I continue to drink it, which a lot of Scotch does. Not this so much. I mean, it's really young Ardbeg, so it might be a little rough. Yeah, if you're not live, if you're like 30 seconds back, then you might be getting boned on that. So bear that in mind. The trouble is the shipping would kill me on that. I do have 3 IKEA shelves that are going over here once I clear the space away, but that ain't happened yet because there's a giant pile of trash sitting in front of the thing that the couch that I got to move. So Stigler, we're going to have a chat about your project when you are ready to talk about it. So, and your work on the GBACW Vassal modules is of course also highly, highly, highly appreciated. So let's go back here because I don't want to stare at that all night. Repeat winners get an FGA game. They're all unpunched, aren't they? It's either one of FGA's various winners or this mint copy of Scrimmage. Perfidious Albion, I am unaware of anything. I'm pretty sure there has been something in S&T over the years about the Balkan Wars, but I can't name a specific game. Iggy Crichton asks, why is GBACW better than LON? I assume you mean LOB, Line of Battle. Shigler's gonna plant his flag in GBACW, but as you'd expect, right? I'd be curious to see what Stigler says about this, and I wanted to do a video on GBACW versus Line of Battle, and I couldn't find a Line of Battle person to talk about it in opposition to Alan. So I like both systems. I think they're both good. There's things that I like about GBACW. There's things that I like about Line of Battle. The defining thing that leads me to lean towards GBACW right now is that I have 7 games in that series, not counting the old SPI stuff. So I can play out it, and one of them's Death Valley. So I can play out a ton of battles. I can only play out 4 battles using Line of Battle because that's what I got. So actually only 3 because I don't have None But Heroes. I've played it though, and it's great. But you can, and I understand that you can, with small modifications, play the old Regimental Subseries games with the Line of Battle rules. I don't have any of those. So, the graphics, I like the counter. I will flatly tell you I like the counter graphics for GBACW better. I think they are just better. They are better designed counters. The maps, I think, are it's a little more even. I don't object to Dean as a cartographer, so I don't mind the Line of Battle maps. I will say that there's a lot of different elevation levels on those maps. And, I haven't been to the Antietam battlefield, so I'm not going to say that that's not appropriate. But it does make a lot of things kind of a pain in the ass to compute in line of battle because there are so many elevation levels. So I'll tell you that. But I mean, I don't think one set of maps is really more is more. I think the GBACW maps are more attractive. I'll be honest. But I think I don't have a problem with the line of battle maps. And chit pull as employed in GBACW works well. So Tabletop's Edge wants to talk line of battle. Well, we might set that up then. If you wanna volunteer to be the spokesperson for line of battle in the line of battle versus GBACW talk off, then I got both of. I think I have your email address, Stigler. And I know how to get a hold of you if I don't. So, Doug, I know I got your address. So, yeah. So, I mean, you do have this. There's a lot of variables, but what does that represent? I mean, trees are 3 elevation levels tall in line of battle, and do not take this as Ardwulf hates line of battle, because that's not the case. We played None But Heroes. It's fabulous. It's a fabulous game. It plays exceptionally well. And it is in places less fiddly than GBACW, and I say that with a full awareness that Dean is a designer that is prone to fiddliness, but it's never fiddliness for no reason. So Dave 1013 likes GBACW better. I will agree with that statement that if the 3-dog map is less confusing, that is because of the elevation levels. That is because there's like 26 or something like that elevation levels on the last chance for victory maps, which is a wonderful game. And I will say this. As a game package, as in I bought this game, how much play value am I getting out of it? There's flatly more play value in Last Chance for Victory, because 3-dog has like 3 scenarios and they're all 3-map scenarios. Line of Battle the Last Chance for Victory line of battle Gettysburg has like 21 scenarios that range from the wheat field, where it's just the wheat field on an 8.5 by 11 map, all the way up to the huge 3-day extravaganza. So, assuming you like the system, there's a reason why it goes for $300 on the secondary market now that it's out of print too, right? So, I like Blind Sword. I'll be honest, I like Blind Swords too, but Blind Swords is in a different category. It is much lighter. And you do lose a lot of detail in the Blind Sword system, but nevertheless, it's highly playable. It plays fast. It's very clean. I like Blind Swords quite a bit. So, and I'd be very, very interested if Blind Swords, somebody behind Herman and his system, wants to do Antietam in that system. Another thing that's being worked on is a new Antietam game in the GBACW series. That is a battle that GBACW has not covered since A Gleam of Bayonets back in the TSR days. That had been about 1986, 1987, 1985, something like that. And I have Gleam of Bayonets, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly good game. But it is old GBACW rather than new chit-pull GBACW. So, Stigler's very argumentative. He'll be happy to debate. So so when we were out in Maryland for Winter Offensive, which we're still up in the air on, we passed. It wouldn't have been that big of a detour for us to stop at Antietam, but it's like friggin' January too, so not super motivated to walk around outside for 6 hours in January. Oof. All right, so. Missing Seattle said he got out of American Civil War games, needed to narrow his field, sold all 18 games, and got close to $4,000. I assume you had some absolute masterpieces in there. I guess if you had like Terrible Swift Sword and Bloody April and that Gettysburg, that Rachel Simmons Gettysburg game and stuff like that, you could get a couple $100 a piece just for those. So. So maybe that's not crazy. Sheriff Harry mentions the Glory series. That's another Richard Berg design, actually. I'm not super. That's a brigade level series, is it not? I think so. One of these days, I do want to do a Civil War battlefield thing, and that's probably going to be. It's probably going to be Chickamauga, actually, because, well, I'm not sure if it's that much closer. Actually, it's probably still a 6-hour drive. Now, Gleam of Bayonets is friggin' hideous. That I will tell you. Ugly counters, ugly map. TSR, Spitzer maps, I'm not aware of well, the ETO and PTO maps are not that bad. Those are like the most attractive Spitzer maps, and they're nothing special. Considering all the fantasy cartography that TSR did, you'd be stunned how ghastly the maps were for all of the war games that they did with SPI on the box. So and as GT Pony Rider mentions, you can totally retrofit the regimental subseries back to Line of Battle and run those games with, I think, fairly minor modifications. So when we start looking backwards, however, into the regimental subseries and the Civil War Brigade series that spawned it, then I think we do start looking at some pretty intensely unattractive maps. The Chickamauga one is not so bad, but like even in their Quiet Fields 2, which I had at one point, which is the Antietam game, the revised Antietam game, that's pretty ugly. It's a pretty ugly map. Perryville might be. That's possible. I'd have to actually map it out, but that's possible. Franklin, that's possible too. Yeah, thinking about where that is, that's possible. I'd have to actually look at it on a map. So yeah, the reenactors, I mean, we actually have it. We drove past a Civil War reenactment here in Columbus, Ohio, at some point. Last year, I think, it's something like that. Right around the time when I was intensely doing a ton of Civil War stuff. Or maybe that was 2 years ago then. So, I'm not really tempted by the Glory games. If I'm going to do a brigade level Civil War series, I would just go back and buy the Civil War Brigade series from the gamers. The maps are ugly, but the games are all solid, and there's tons of them, and they do not go for a ton of money. So you have an excellent battle. At one point, I actually put, because this is the kind of thing I do, because I'm a dork, actually mapped out all the various Civil War series. This was like 3 years ago now. So this is vastly out of date. And like kind of, this does this series does all these battles, and I broke in the volumes like Death Valley and put all those battles in, and there's a lot of really interesting battles that the Civil War Brigade series handles. They have games on that, like Gainesville and stuff like that. There's not a lot of battle games on those battles. So I'll weigh in. Jason W. asks Stigler how he feels about the Rebel Fury. So Rebel Fury is an adaptation of the system that Mark Herman introduced with the Gettysburg game that appeared in C3I. I will be blunt and say I did not care for that game. It did not seem to me it didn't work because of scale. If you think about, you only have like 15 pieces on the map if you're the Union, and you got like 12 pieces on the map if you're the Confederates. I don't think I don't find that scale attractive, okay, for a battle game. Now, on the other hand, Mark also takes this pretty much the same system and does Waterloo with it in the very next issue, I think, of C3I. And instead of a Waterloo battle game, it is a Waterloo campaign game. And there, I think it works really very well. So I'm really curious about Rebel Fury. I want to see exactly what it has and what the scope of its scenarios look like. If it is mostly campaign scenarios, then I'm interested in it. If it is all battle scenarios, then I am probably not interested in it. I do think that's a good system. I think at the right scan, I'm not going to say it's a bad system for battles. It just doesn't appeal to me as a battle system. As a campaign system, I do think it's attractive. So, and that Gettysburg game was intended. Now, and this is the other key point here. That Gettysburg game was intended as an introductory war game for introductory wargamers, right? And that's not me. So that it doesn't appeal to me is maybe not surprising because I'm not the audience for it. So Hollenspiel's got a whole bunch of interesting Civil War games from John Tyson. Those I have not looked at any of those. They do look interesting. And there's Block Oddity mentioning John Tyson. So, all right, we're about to do a giveaway number 4 of 5. So let me get back to random.org. So this is the RPG giveaway. So if you're not into RPGs, maybe you want to say no to this. And this is I would like to specially thank, and I haven't seen him here tonight, John Longshore. Never mind, there he is. Courtesy John Longshore. The brand new, in the shrink wrapped, shipped in an actual, like, iron box from Chaosium. I mean, they shipped this, I shouldn't have thrown the packaging away, because I could have just reused it. The RuneQuest starter set. I did an unboxing of this. This is brand new. It's only been available outside of, like, conventions for a matter of weeks. It is a wonderful package, a beautifully produced package, and it is full of beautiful RuneQuest and Glorantha stuff. So if you're not into RPGs, maybe you want to just wait for the next giveaway. But if you are into RPGs and you're interested in RuneQuest, this is a great new addition to RuneQuest. This goes alongside the new RuneQuest. It is an Adventures in Glorantha or role-playing. It's RuneQuest role-playing in Glorantha that Chaosium has also produced. It's really neat. Yes, you may start putting numbers in, numbers between 1 and 200. So again, if you've already won something, you're not going to win this one, so don't put a number in. I'm going to take your first number, and I'm going to take the winner as the first person who puts in the number that comes up. If you are the winner, then you are going to email me at ardwulfslair@gmail.com. Ardwulfslair, no spaces, no punctuation. And you're going to tell me, hey, I won the RuneQuest starter set, here's my address, ship it to me. If you are not in the United States, I'm going to ask you to split the shipping with me. Generally speaking, 50-50 is what ends up working out. This, again, if you're interested in seeing the inside, this is only $30, by the way. It is a wonderful book, a wonderful box set, just loaded with, there's no character creation rules in here, but you get like 15 pre-generated characters. It's the only thing that's left out of this. Otherwise, there's like a whole lifetime of adventuring in this thing. It's a fabulous package. There's an unboxing video of it. Go check out the unboxing video if you want to see that. But we're giving away the RuneQuest starter set here tonight. And I'm going to give it a couple extra minutes because we had a complaint. So I'm typing it in, but I'm not going to hit the enter button until we have a number. And the numbers are between 1 and 200. So if you put in 765, then that don't count. So Daniel Berger just got one. Hollenspiel's got a bunch of interesting things, and they've got a sale going on, I think, for another day or two. And I just didn't have the chance to get in on it. And again, I'm not supposed to be buying stuff for myself right now, so there's that too. So. And I spent plenty of money already. 7 Days Battles in GBACW. Alan, get on that. I agree. The only game system to really cover that has been Civil War Brigade series, 7 Days Battles. I mean, if you want battle games, if you want the campaign, then you can look at Under Richmond from the Great Campaigns of the American Civil War system, which is a great game. So, all right. We're starting with Peter Berg's 56. 56 is not the number. I haven't generated the number yet. We'll put this up. We still have the old 142 on there. But Peter Berg's is the first entry here with number 56. So we're going to give it a couple minutes while I drink some more water. Oh, okay. All right, what are we up to? 1:30. We got to drop off. Some people are going to miss out on the last giveaway, which I don't know if everybody else is going to think it's neat, but I do. The giveaway after this one, which we'll do in about 10 minutes. Nutball. Nutball has entered at number 97. All right, so I am going to cut it off in about a minute. E4 Airman, yes, Battle of the Wilderness is being produced for GBACW, and it is the next game in the Line of Battle series. No turning back. Very interested in seeing that. I should really probably send Chip Farr an email and see where that is. Tim Zales picked up Charlemagne and Stilicho. I don't have either of those, but they both look good. Yeah, see, block out any me either. I'm actually playing in an online game on Sunday nights right now, so there's that. All the 7 days in one box would be a huge job, but it'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Put it all on one big map, too, so you can actually play for the entire 7 days. I mean, that'd be awesome. All right. All right, I'm about to hit the cutoff. If anybody wants to put their numbers in, put them in right now. I'm going to pull up the random number generator. I am now hitting the cutoff since we have now like 10 items entries in the chat that aren't numbers. All right, scrolling back up, and once again, we're starting with Peter Berg's. It's number 56. And I'll laugh if it's 56. The number is 158. Does anybody have a 158? No. Nobody has 158. So I'm going to generate another number. 95. Nobody has 95. Maybe we didn't need 200 on this one. 38. I'm using search now, by the way. Nope. Nobody has 38. Doug is playing RuneQuest one Friday a month. That's awesome. I've been wanting to play it for ages, and I haven't had the chance. All right, now current number is 119. We do have one 119, but it's for a previous round. We don't have it, so let's roll it again. 173. Nope. 166. Nope. All right, hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 50. Oh, this is a pain in the ass. 51, 52, 53. All right, I'm going to generate a number between 1 and 53. 24. All right, starting with Peter Berg's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Block Oddity. You are number 24 of the list of people who put in numbers for the RuneQuest starter set. So please do send me an email at ardwulflair@wordpress.com and mention that you won the RuneQuest starter set. Please send it to you and give me your address. And again, if you're not in the U.S., then I'll ask you to help me out with shipping. So, but we'll figure it out. And then probably, like I said, I got a crazy work week happening here, and plus I got to take the dog to the vet to get staples removed. So, we're going to have a stressful week. So we're probably not going to ship till Saturday, but bear in mind. So, congrats to all the winners. All right, so it is 9:59. So we're going to talk for another couple of minutes. Normally, we give it up right about this time, but I still have a decent amount of money. And by money, I mean scotch. So, and then we'll have our final giveaway. Let's get rid of this. And we'll see how many people we have putting numbers in. I'll probably do between 1 and 200, but I don't want to have to generate 50 numbers like I just did. That kind of sucked. So the dog had to have emergency surgery to have her uterus removed because it was filled with nasty fluids and needed to be removed immediately. So Manders mentions, yes, there is On to Richmond 2 is in the queue for GC ACW. And it will also include Grant Takes Command 2 and a new Petersburg module. So that's another day one pre-order for me. I have, by the way, gotten order I don't pre-order from MMP anymore. I think they're not going to screw up my orders again. I think that was a mishap that happened because they changed the website, and I don't want to be sore about it again. So we will be day one ordering that thing. Love that series. Just delighted with everything that MMP has done with it. So, and I'm happy to report that it has like significantly taken off in the last 5 or 10 years too. So, anyway, so we have finished. I got to print labels out for it, but I've got all of the small lens counters in one tray. So the way the motorized and Panzer formations work in that you've got 2nd Panzer Group and 3rd Panzer Group, and they're not allowed to really coordinate at all. So I thought I was going to get all of 2nd Panzer Group in one compartment and all of 3rd Panzer Group in another one, and that did not work out. So each took 2 compartments, and I only have 8 compartments for the Germans. So the dog is recovering. So yeah, she's doing much better. She feels much better. It's obvious that she feels much better. She's eating great now. She lost 10 pounds in a week, which is the big alarm bell that when she got to the vet, she's like, oh, she's lost 10 pounds in the week. We there's something going on. So yeah, so fortunately she's doing fine. My wallet is doing less fine because it was not cheap to get that done. Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 reprint is already out. That's been out since about 7 or 8 months. So if you want it, go get it, because when it goes out of print again, it's gonna go up again to some crazy price, and I wouldn't count on it getting reprinted soon. So Trevor Russell Smith is trying to overcomplicate this situation totally. So all right, so I think we're gonna switch to a different scotch next week. Or I'm just gonna. How much of this is left? That's probably 2 to 3 counter clipping streams worth of scotch. So, wait, Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 is out of print again? I'm having trouble. That sounds crazy. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that sounds crazy. Nope, he's right. It's sold out again. Your host. See if you can get it now. So right now, what's available for GCACW is Atlanta is Ours, Hood Strikes North, Roads to Gettysburg 2. Stonewall Jackson's Way 2. They just reprinted this thing. I don't know what's going on. But maybe it was a real small print run. I don't know. None But Heroes. That's a crazy price. That's a crazy person price. But not that many copies show up on eBay. That's the problem. And at some point, so Black Oddity, thanks. I hope that folks have fun. Please do let me give you the reminder, the stock reminder that I can almost mutter in my sleep at this point. Please do like the video, thumbs up the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Please do consider, at least if you can, becoming a patron and helping the stream out, the channel out. It helps me bring more content, better content, buy new stuff, buy new equipment, all that stuff. If you help us out with the Patreon and the merch store and the Ko-Fi, all of which are linked in the video description. So Anyway. So I don't know that I picked a super lightweight topic tonight on purpose, actually, because I knew we had a bunch of giveaways anyway. So that's what folks are actually here for. They want the free stuff. So, yep, apparently Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 is out of print again. That's crazy, but there you go. You know, maybe it'll get reprinted again. I don't know. John Longshore said they made 5. So, maybe. I don't know. Crazy. I did not get the new counters. This is another one of those pre-orders that got lost. I had like a copy of Stonewall Jackson's Way 2, even though I have Stonewall Jackson's Way 2, 2 copies of the counter sheet, 2 copies of Hood Strikes North, and what I ended up with was 2 copies of Hood Strikes, 3 copies of Hood Strikes North, one of which was for Fucko. So that's why I have an extra copy of Hood Strikes North, which I'm not getting rid of because that's maybe my favorite game series. Now I have both Skirmisher magazines, but I have the counter sheet for Skirmisher 1, but I don't have the counter sheet from Skirmisher 2, which is too bad because Skirmisher 2 has the Burnside Takes Command counter mix in it, and that's the Fredericksburg campaign. Now Fredericksburg as a battle to play out on a war game kind of sucks. But because it's a stupid battle, it's stupid Union tactics that no even semi-conscious player would replicate. Nobody would repeat Burnside's mistakes there. But the campaign is a little bit different. The campaign's fairly playable, so I'd be very interested in playing. And it all happens on existing maps. So all you need is 20 counters or something like that. And I'd really would have liked to have seen them put that in a reprint, but they have not. Sheriff Harry said it's the best scenario for GCACW. And hey, for all I know, he might be right. I got the scenario. I don't have the counters. I could probably make counters. It probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. So I certainly have done my share of encouraging people to get into GCACW, which I like a lot. We have talked a lot more about GBACW lately, but that's Stigler's fault because he's here every week. So, not that that's bad. Thank you, Alan, for coming every week. But that's why we talk more about GBACW lately. At some point, we're going to talk more about GCACW, and at some point, I'm going to do another video on OCS, which I'm overdue on. So the first Skirmisher has the new series rules, which are superfluous now. But it also has the replacement counters to retrofit the older games in the series, pre-Grant Takes Command, into the new series rules. So it is fairly valuable. So there's 109 dislikes. What's going on? Oh my God. So it's all good. There was like a big dip. A bunch of people bailed at like 9:45 for some reason. Apparently that's like a lot of people's bedtime. Let's talk trade. Half-ass gaming. Talk trade for what? For None But Heroes, because that's the one that's on my list. Or the Skirmisher. You got an extra Skirmisher number 2 counter sheet. I only need the counter sheet. I got the magazine. Somebody sold me the magazines for like $10 a piece, actually, without the counter sheets though. So that was the problem. Stonewall Jackson's Way 2 was on the table, or a table, at Compass Expo, too. So, tons and tons and tons for Burnside. Okay, cool. I mean, even just a scan of the counter sheet. I don't think BGG has a scan of that counter sheet. I could be wrong about that. We could talk about trade. You got my email address, right? If not, we're friends on Facebook. Get a hold of me. So, it's all good. So, all right. Oh dear. Oh dear. Stuff's happening. Stuff's going on. I'd like to thank Thomas Bandy, by the way, for becoming a patron during the stream. Thank you so much for helping out. Every little bit helps. You can do it for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month ain't gonna hurt anybody. You can't get a cup of coffee for $1 anymore. So, but it adds up, right? So, all right. So, I have one other, I really should talk to these folks at some point, right? Because, we got a counter clipping stream where we do this every week. And, more often than not, there's a lot of people watching this show, watching me use the fine products from our friends at Oregon Laminations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away a 2.5 millimeter standard, because this is the one I recommend, Oregon Laminations corner rounder. And I'm going to collect your information and I'm going to have it shipped directly to you from probably Amazon, because the prices at this moment are the same on Amazon as they are on Oregon Laminations webpage. And unlike the deluxe model where I had to get it home, take it out of the box, make a bunch of changes with sandpaper and files and super glue and a belt sander, you take this out of the box and start working on it. Take your time at first. Just kind of be careful with it. Use it upside down if you got to. Watch my video on how to use these things and just take my advice, and it will be great. Okay? So it's not this one. It's going to be a new one. This is broken in on my part. So you're not going to get this one. And I figure if you only have one corner rounder, it's the 2.5 millimeter that you want. It's the most versatile. You can easily use it on both 1/2 inch counters, 9/16 inch counters, 5/8 inch counters. On anything bigger, the clip's a little small, but that covers the vast majority of games that you would clip. Stigler, you are not eligible for this giveaway, okay? Stigler does not win this giveaway. All right, so we got 122 people in here right now, so I'm going to turn the number back down to 100. And I'm going to have folks enter a number between 1 and 100. And all I need is an email from you with your address. Like I said, I'll do this tonight. If you give me the address tonight, I'll have this thing shipped right out to you. And this is courtesy of Ardwulf, right? We're just going to buy one and have it sent to you, as opposed to something that I pull out of the giveaway pile. So go ahead and start throwing in numbers between 1 and 100 for the giveaway for the Oregon Laminations standard and totally indestructible corner rounder. You're going to have yours back before the damn TSA sends me mine back. Craziness. I'm so upset about that. That is the reason why I picked up this deluxe, right? Because I needed a 2.5, because I got all this stuff from Compass, and it's all big counters. Not all big counters. Kharkov Battles was 1/2 inch counters. Stigler says he's going to enter. You're not eligible. I'm re-rolling if you win. And if Fucko wins, I'm going to personally go to his house and beat him with the counter clippers, because he's already got a counter clipper. All right, the first number that we're starting with is Mike Anthony's number 58. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. All right. Let me talk about real quick Compass Expo, because I did get the chance to talk to a number of viewers of the channel at Compass Expo, and it was really cool that happened. I also had a number of people that just walked up to me and say, "I really like your stuff." That happened at Origins too. I'll be completely honest. I'm not saying don't do that, because I do like to hear that. But it's like, it feels weird, because it's like, hey man, I don't, think I'm like good at anything in particular here from doing this. I just like to talk and hear myself talk. And it just so happens that a bunch of people, because I say stupid shit from time to time, a bunch of people tend to like it. No, do not carry these on an airplane. If you carry these on an airplane, the TSA will confiscate them, because they are pricks. So I do. We'll talk about that another time. So, this is the one I go by, right? It's a little trickier to use. You got to get used to it. But once you get used to it, you really don't miss clip counters anymore. It will literally never break. Every once in a while, I'll have to take it apart and clean it. And I got a video on that, so go watch the video on counter clipping from the channel earlier. on how to take care of these things, how to use them. I have nothing but positive impressions of my trusty 2mm corner clipper that's probably, like I said, clipped at least 50,000 counters at this point, because I've been using this for years and years and years. All right, I'm about to cut the number off. So, boom, we're cutting it off. All right, Rich L. Camp 1. Yeah, it was fantastic to talk to folks at Compass Expo. All right, we're at 1 to 100. The number is 72. We're doing search. Nobody picked 72. Roll it again. 92. Nobody picked 92. We're having bad luck with this. 91. Yep. We've got a number 30. We've got a number 30, and it is Michael Potts. Michael Potts, you are the winner. So, I would like you to email me at ardwulflair@gmail.com, and we will get this thing out to you pretty much as soon as, if you don't do it in the next 20 minutes, I'm not going to get it out till tomorrow probably, but I can get it out tonight because I'm just going to ship it directly through Amazon, and you'll probably have it in a couple of days. So thanks everybody for entering all of these. And we might, like I said, I should really talk to the Organ Laminations people and try and get some kind of, I don't really want them to give me money, which I think would be ridiculous for me to ask, but like a couple pairs of counter clippers that I could use as giveaways, I think would be a fabulous giveaway. So maybe we will look at doing that for stream number 100, because I'm going to keep doing this. And I have gotten the names for Perfidious Albion and Adam McDonald, who get extra credit when we have another giveaway, which maybe I'll do something next week. I don't have a plan, so I don't want to say. But maybe we'll give something away next week, and I will give them some extra chances. So if those folks are still here, and I hope they are, then come by next week. Now we did also hit a new record tonight. Which I think we topped out at 161, right around 9 p.m. actually. So this has been fantastic. Clipping counters with scissors seems absurd and super clumsy, but I've seen like whole games clipped that way, and they turned out okay. I guess if you're super careful, it's awfully good. I don't know that you'll be able to find it anymore because I think it was a private Google Drive. Mike Anthony, I think it was a share off of Google Drive. Email me and I'll send it to you. So, because I've got the file. I don't think the file is on the internet anymore. Let me put it that way, because this was back in the days of Google Plus. So, Perfidious Albion will be here next week. Thank you so much. All right, so we are going to wrap it up now. So let me talk super quickly about what's coming up. So tomorrow we have the Compass Games Expo loot video. That is already up. It's scheduled. It'll go live at 10 a.m. tomorrow. On Wednesday, we have the stream with Dan. It's on Dan's channel this week. I have no idea what the topic is. Dan will ask me what the topic is 10 minutes before the show, and I'll come up with something from my ass at that time, and we'll roll with that. And then Dan will change the topic on me at the last minute. We have a special guest who has nothing to do with our topic of Operation Market Garden. Maybe we'll talk about, maybe I'll insist about talking about Operation Market Garden or Stalingrad, since we haven't done that in the last two weeks. And then on Thursday, I do want to do a regular scheduled unboxing video. But I don't have anything edited yet, so I'm not sure what it is going to be, but I should have the chance to edit it between now and Thursday. And then on Friday, we have an Inside the Box video of Atlantic Wall, the SPI Atlantic Wall, so check that out as well. So this is, once again, the 50th counterclipping stream. I did not think a year ago that we would be doing this, but here we are, and it really is thanks to everybody who shows up. Not every week, not everybody shows up every week, and that's cool. People got lives and things like that, but I really do appreciate all the folks who do show up who come in and who participate in the chat and who participate in the community that we have here. I really do appreciate it. And I'd also like to send a last minute thank you to the show's patrons on Patreon. There are links in the video description for this. Please do give the video a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to the channel. Please do, that's just basic stuff. Hit the little bell icon. That helps with the notifications as well, if you want to. I know some people don't want the notifications. I do have notifications turned on for some channels, but I have the notifications turned off on the devices. So the only time I get like a bell is when I go to YouTube. But then, there's folks that show up here every week, and everybody that comes by and comments on the videos and thumbs ups the videos and subscribes to the channel is a supporter of Ardwulf's Lair, and I really appreciate it. So, once again, I'd like to wish everybody a good night, happy holidays, but we'll talk again at least 3 times before any more holidays occur. So